Test, test, test. Um, Good morning to sir. My name is Gabriel Yandoni.
My name is Marisa.
And my name is Jaquina.
So today we will be presenting developing activities for listening skills. So this is the content outline of our presentation. First, we have introduction, issues, significant, and then the last line is the two activities. The presentation will then be concluded by me also. First, the introduction. So as we know, listening skill is one of the most important communication skills that we have to learn to enhance our communication skill. To communicate to someone, we have to have a good listening skill so that we can actually understand and apply the information that we receive in a conversation. Without listening skills, we just simply hearing and just receiving words without having anything to do with the words itself. Next. And then this will be the issues. I'll be passing the presentation to someone else.
Okay, good morning, sir. So I will be the first to discuss issues in listening among children. For the first one, which is language and vocabulary challenges, I would explain some of the points. So one of the issues is that children might have limited vocabulary knowledge. By that, I mean long or detailed text can cause confusion to children. And when they don't understand certain meanings of words or passages, they might have a hard time to understand what the sentence or the word itself mean. So, because of this, it brings us to difficulty with complex sentences. For example, complex sentences would include multiple ideas or complex grammar in itself. For example, the word complex itself would be confusing to children as they have not yet learned it, and that will make them confused. And that would bring up the issue with vocabulary challenges. And the third one is understanding figurative speech and accents. For example, it's raining cats and dogs. When we first learn about figurative speech, we might think of it as literally raining cats and dogs, but it simply means raining heavily. So they might not understand that since it is spoken in a figurative speech. And there are also accents where they find it difficult to differentiate between um, everyone else's accents. For example, there's British English, there's Australian English, there's American English. When they hear the different accents, they might find it hard to differentiate as they are not yet um, come to term with the differences between each of the different English. So that's all for my language and vocabulary challenges.
So for the second one is auditory discrimination difficulty. So this is something that make the student confused of the word that sound alike but have different meanings. Yes. For example, like when the teacher said cat and some student may heard it as head or something. So this confusion will make it harder for them to understand what the others or the teachers say for for them. And this will make how to say easy to say it's harder for them to understand and understand what the others saying and how to express themselves uh, correctly. And that's all from me.
So for the third point for issues in listening among children is short attention span. I believe that most kids nowadays have really short attention span due to the great number of the excuse me, great number of distractions that have occurred in modern times. It's due to the advancement of technology and overall just great number of news that kept rising in social media. All of this is overstimulating, causing a lot of distraction for the children. And this overstimulation and distraction cause them to lack focus on the things that they are supposed to focus at. And not only that, there's also multitasking culture that has been occurring ever since there was a child. Nowadays, we've seen a lot of parents give their kids phone or tablets as a way to make sure that they stay still or do not play around while they are eating or while they are changing their clothes. All of this have been integrated into their very being, causing them to be used to needing to do two things at the same time. But even though multitasking sounds good at first, but for kids, it's actually detrimental to their development because they haven't learned how to focus on one thing, but they have first learned how to do two things at the same time. This caused them to be hindered to actually successfully do one thing at a time, which is like focusing on instruction, focusing on lectures, and that will how to say make it hard for them to listen, which is the issues at hand. Moving on to the next slide. This will be the significance of listening activities. I'll be giving it to Marisa.
Okay, so I will be the first to explain significance of listening activities in the classroom. So as for the first point, which is enhancing language comprehension and building cultural and social awareness. For the first point, which is enhancing language comprehension, it basically helps students to understand the tone, rhythm, or pronunciation. It improves students' understanding of different speech patterns. As for the second one, which is learning vocabulary and grammar naturally. By naturally, this means that you will listen to daily life's conversation and you can understand what it means and how it is used. Instead of reading it off of textbooks and memorizing it, this one is basically you learn as if it's like listening to songs and you understand that, oh, this is a love song, this is a rap. So it's basically like that. As for the third point, which is exposure to different accents and speech styles, um, this prepares students for real life conversations. For example, nowadays there are so many slangs in different way how people speak, as in the TikTok culture. Children will always say skibidi, which which means they're just yes. Okay. Moving on to building cultural and social awareness. By doing this, it introduces students to different perspectives from each culture, since not everyone speak the same way in their own culture. They may speak English all the same way, but they may say it in different tone. For example, um, when we speak in proper English, which is also called Queen's English, we say it with proper grammar and proper vocabulary. But when it comes to slangs and differences in cultures, people tend to be more relaxed on the grammar, and there's no certain rules whether you can use this type of speech or not. So that is all for my part.
So for the second one is promote active engagement and improve attention skill. So first, for the first point is improve critical thinking. So listening activities is don't just involve like passively hearing information. They also require student to uh, actively actively process and think critically about the material being shared by the teachers or their friend in the classroom. And yeah, for the second one is greatly helps in blocking out distractions. Like we know the environment in the classroom might be noisy and it's hard for the certain student to hear what the teacher says in front and everything. And the last one is improve listening stamina and retention. Mhm. So,
So for the third point, which is boost retention and memory. So if we let the student partake in a lot of listening activities, they will be more used to applying the listening skills into daily life activities, such as when we tell them to act out a certain action, when we tell them to listen to certain sounds and guess the sounds. All of this will boost their skills and listening and subscription. Sorry. And then this will also boost their retention and memory. So by boosting their retention and memory, they are capable of accurately following instruction accurately. The reason for this is as they listen properly to the instruction given by the teacher, they will remember back on the instruction properly instead of just um, heavily remember parts of it. And then on the second point, which is improve problem solving skills through recalling information. As we listen properly to a lot of information, messages, or instruction, we can recall back to the information and apply it into future problems or challenges. As we recall all of these experiences, it will improve our problem solving skills because we have learned how to do it and how to solve them at the first place. That is for the significance.
Um, okay. So, okay, I will be explaining for the first activity. It is called Guess the Sounds. So, there are 6 steps into this. So, as for the preparation, it basically inquires the students to sit quietly and prepare for the audio listening. And as for the second one, which is listening to the audio, teachers will play the audio and let the students guess what is coming out from the sound. So, the third one, which is guessing the sound, students will raise their hand to answer which is the correct animal or weather or the sound of nature. As for answer reveal, the teacher will reveal the answer as to what the animal sounds are or the weather or the nature. And there are also parts of discussion. For example, um, if the sound is a sound of the lion, then the teacher will ask, "Oh, where does lion live? What is um, what does lion eat?" or something like that. And that is it. And it is the end of the activity.
so for the second activity is listen and draw. For the preparation is the teachers prepare an audio for the student about what they're going to draw and listen. And then the this game or this activity is have three stages like easy, medium, and hard. So for the easy is the audio will directly state what to draw, and the medium one is the audio describe the function of the object, and the student must draw and guess it. And for the hard is student follow step by step drawing instruction while guessing the object. And then for the point is awarded for correct drawing and guesses, and the game ends. That's all from me.
So, lastly, for the conclusion, to conclude our presentation, we can say that listening skill is an important aspect of communication skill as a whole. Without listening to to the messages conveyed and information that we actually receive properly, there is no way for us to understand and interpret it correctly. Thus, by having a proper listening skills, we can improve our academic performance, relationships, and also workplace environment interactions due to a lot of communication skills that we have received. That is all for our presentation today. Thank you, sir.